Hi everyone. This next section is the four hats of artists in business. I hope that this can help you get kind of an overview of your business and the different roles that we need to understand and master in order to have a creative business. If you take a look at this as kind of a grid, you have the creator on the bottom and the operator, which are sort of foundational to the business. And both of those roles that we have then go into kind of these future versions of themselves, the leader and the promoter, thinking about the future, thinking about growing the business. On the other side of this scale, we have the inner work of the creator, which then is taken into the outer world of the operator, like doing all the nuts and bolts tasks of a business. The same thing with the leader. The leader is kind of an inner role because the leader needs to make decisions and then take it into the outer world in terms of promoting the work. So we are, in a sense, always becoming one or the other of these roles. When we make our art, we're the creator. When we make goals and think about the future, we're the leader. When we do our books and when we sell work, we're the operator. And then when we do our social media and our websites, etc., we're the promoter. So first, I wanted to talk about the creator. Of course, the creator is the most important one. If we're not creating art, then we're not artists, so that's really important, obviously. And the word for this hat, of course, is creativity. As we talked about before, as a creator, what do we make? Well, we make decisions, we make meaning, and we make impact. Seth Godin said in a blog post, what do we make? We make decisions. So just understanding that as a creator, sometimes it's easy to make decisions in our art. We're doing it every day. We're deciding what color to use, what format to use, what surface, when to stop, when to continue working, etc. We make decisions all the time. But when we get into these other three roles, sometimes it's difficult to remember that every decision is important. And when we make a decision, then that kind of closes a door and helps us move on to the next stage. So the creator hat, when we're wearing this is what we do. We make decisions, we ideate, we create things, we make objects, we think of ideas, we master our skills. And what we must do for ourselves is we must protect our own space, protect our time, and nurture ourselves. So those are really the roles and the tasks of the creator. The other hats will not necessarily take care of the creator in yourself. Okay, the leader wants to just go on to the next thing, and sometimes we get ahead of ourselves. The promoter might want to put work out there when we're not quite ready for it. So we have to protect ourselves. We have to make sure we spend time nurturing ourselves and think about the creations that we're making, or the creative process, and really balance that with all the other hats. Sometimes that's the easy part, and all the other roles are more difficult. So there's a trap with each of these hats, and probably more than one, but the main one I've found, the trap for the creator, is perfectionism. Thinking about, my business will grow if my product is better, which of course is true in to a certain extent. If I make more beautiful or more interesting or more professional paintings or sculptures or costumes or whatever I'm doing, I can grow my business more. But the thing is, we really have to think about it in terms of, if we're just sitting here making things and making every single piece perfect, but not getting it out there and not selling it, then that's not going to make our business grow. Right. So there has to be kind of a balance between the two. And most of us know that. So if we're in that land of perfectionism, in that trap, and we we won't let our work go, we always feel anxiety because we're not perfect, then the result is that stress and anxiety in ourselves at all times, which is not productive. So I think the solution to that is to baby step your expectations with your work. For I started painting when I was 50, and it was really, really hard to sell my first pieces because I just felt, oh, these are crap. I'm not going to, who would want to buy them? And if they did, I would be embarrassed to sell them. Um, I think we all have had that moment. But if we just say, wow, this person likes this piece, I want to sell it to them, and check, there we go. That is done. Made a sale. So every part of our perfectionism process, we can take baby steps towards a more perfect art, eh, basically. So I think baby stepping your expectations really help us get out of that perfectionism trap. Okay, the leader. So the leader has a word that is needed by all the other hats: clarity. The leader takes control, makes goals, decides which direction we're going to go. The leader is the big decision maker. So the leader in ourselves, when we're wearing this hat, we're envisioning, we're prioritizing, we're strategizing, we're communicating with others and with ourselves and with all the other roles. We are assessing what we've done before and thinking about what we're going to do next, and then realigning. So for instance, the first couple of years I started making art, I made a big list of things that I wanted to do. I called this my milestone list. And they were just things that I had never done before. Like, I wanted to do an outdoor art fair. I didn't know if I'd like it or not, but I wanted to try it. So had a list of 5 or 6 things like that I wanted to do. And so I just made the list. I envisioned doing those things. I planned it. I did it. And then I checked them off the list. And at the end of that summer, that first year, I kind of assessed and realigned, did I like doing these different things? And I found that outdoor art fairs weren't really for me. I decided that, they were kind of too much work, and my work wasn't really easy to move around. And I would rather focus my time on galleries or online sales. So for me, that was a moment of my leader taking over, envisioning the opportunities, strategizing, doing it, and then at the end, assessing and realigning. And therefore, I made a decision that I didn't have to focus on those outdoor events anymore. And that saved me a lot of time going forward. So I'm sure you've had this experience with various things that you've attempted, but the leader is the one that takes us through that process. So the trap for the leader is abdication. Don't let the creator take over for the strategist. So the creator is like, in me, I know, and in many of my friends, is like the little kid. Oh, see this new thing I made? Oh, I want to do this new series. See, I'm going to work and make 10 paintings like this now. I'm going to kind of leave what I did over here and start something new. Okay, so that is great. That's great for the creator to explore and, protect that space of creativity. But as far as a business goes, the leader needs to make sure that there's strategy, that there's clarity, that there's movement forward, that there's decisions being made. And so we don't want that chaos on a regular basis. So I would say that the solution for this is to baby step your goals. So, say the leader in us says, I want to be in a gallery. And the creator says, oh my gosh, what am I going to produce? What am I going to give them? I have 25 different pieces of art that I want to show them. The leader will take that role and say, okay, how about we clarify our message and create a package for this gallery that will show this part of our message and our work. And, so listen to that leader try to find clarity in some of these projects so we can avoid chaos. All right. So the operator's word is process. The operator communicates with all of the other hats. I mean, communication, of course, is very important, but the operator defines boundaries, creates systems, creates a budget, measures things, and troubleshoots. So if you decide as the creator you have, 10 new pieces of work to sell, the operator is going to say, okay, how am I going to sell them? Am I going to stand out on the street corner? Am I going to go to a fair? Am I going to put them on my website? Am I going to put them in a gallery? There's all of these choices that the leader helps you make, but also then the operator has to go in and define boundaries and say, okay, we're going to put 5 of these pieces on our website. And then we're going to take the other 5 and put them in a gallery and promote those on social media. So the idea of how to do these things and how to create systems for people to buy things on your website, to track your sales, to archive your work, etc., is really important. And I'm going to go over each one of these hats in more detail and offer you tools to create systems that may help you if you don't already have some of those in place. Okay, so the operator, this could be the operator's motto. Anytime there is a problem, there is a need for a system. So in a sense, like, what if someone wants to buy my work? I see someone on the street and they said, oh, I saw one of your pieces. I want to sell it to you. And you start saying, okay, well, give me your number. I'll text you. And then you start texting back and forth and you can't really connect with this person. And a couple of weeks passed and eventually the sale just kind of falls away. So it feels like that's a problem, right? You want to sell your piece. So if you have a system for sales, you say, okay, to this person, this is how it works. I'll get your email address and then I will send you an invoice for the piece. And then you'll respond and let me know when I can deliver it or how I can ship it, etc. So the systems really help you take care of those problems that come up and troubleshoot and make the operations of your business flow a lot more smoothly. So the operator says, like I said before, here's how this works. You create systems and then you let other people know how it's going to work in your business. If you sell your art through a gallery, that may mean, here, give me your email address and I will connect you with my gallery. This is how this works. So it really helps to have those systems in place so people know and feel comfortable about how they can work with you. So the trap for the operator is procrastination. We tend to use busy work to avoid the other hats, right? So, okay, I'm going to, redo the titles of my pieces on my website, or I'm going to rearrange things on my gallery page, or I'm going to gesso a bunch of canvases, or whatever. So we find that when we procrastinate things, the thing that suffers probably the most is the operations of the business. And the result, of course, is imbalance. So, my suggestion is to baby step your systems. Find simple systems and then schedule those into your schedule weekly. So, for instance, I look at my money once a week on Friday morning. I figure by then most of the checks will have gone through or payments will have been made or whatever. So I go in and I look at all my balances and I just make sure there's no fires to put out and I take stock of everything. So that's my really simple system for my finances. And it's scheduled every week. So I'm not sitting here going, oh my gosh, that's right. I have to look at invoices or I have to look at my bank balance or whatever. And I haven't done it for 2 weeks. So if you have little systems that help you, then you can reduce stress and find more balance. Okay, the final hat is the promoter. And the word for the promoter is attraction. The promoter may be a little different than most people think. We think of promoters like with this party hat, the person who's out there talking a lot, active, loud, just advertising and promotions and sales and all that. But really, I feel like most of the job of the promoter in you and the promoter hat is listening. So often we don't even know what the message is that we're putting out to the world. So the job of the promoter is to listen to the creator, mostly. Listen to the leader and listen to the other ones, but really listen to the creator and mine that for messaging. So, for instance, I have a friend who builds their own panels and in a barn off in the countryside, and it's a really cool process. So the artist, she doesn't really find it all that fascinating because she just does it all the time. But I know a lot of other people might find it really interesting. So the promoter in her can be listening and say, wow, what a cool process. Why don't we take that message and that story and share that with the world and so they can understand more about your work? Because really, it's not just the panels that are important to her. It's really the whole process from beginning to end of building the panels and painting on them and caustic, etc. So it's really fascinating to listen to yourself, to find out what you're missing in your messaging and in your story, and then share that with the world. So, of course, the promoter builds relationships as well. Relationships are everything in the world, but in the art world in particular as well. That we must build those relationships with our collectors, with our gallerists, with our fellow artists, with our community. And of course, that's the fun part. But sometimes we retreat into our studios and we it's hard to come out. So the promoter reminds us to go out into the world and build relationships. And not in order to sell or manipulate anyone, but in order to do these last two things, to share and to teach, or rather educate people about your work. So I see sales as not manipulation and not, that sort of necessary evil, but in really it's a chance to share and educate people about our message. So the promoter has a possible trap of avoidance. And this is similar to the creator's problem. My product is not, quote, there yet. But what I would suggest is that you take imperfect action and really just try to get small messages out, tell your story a little bit at a time, and that way you can avoid the ideas of avoidance, avoidance, and stagnation. And really that solution is to baby step your messaging. Just, you don't have to have, a perfect body of work to get it out there. You can put up Some people don't do this and some people do. Put up your work in process. Some people like that, to engage with your audience, and it's fine either way. But whatever works for you, just keep those small messages out there so people can understand what your story is and what you're up to. Okay, so the creator, the, the leader, the operator, and the promoter are the basic 4 hats. But of course, the 5th hat is the one that brings it all together, and that's, our witch's hat. And I do just love to think about this in terms of the fact that that 5th hat and bringing all this together is the magic that is you in particular, because everyone can run their business well if they put the work into it. But every business is going to be unique and every artist is going to be unique. And that is the magic. And that magic is you. Okay, so just to review quickly, what do we make? As artists, we make meaning. Actually, as human beings, every day we make meaning. We make decisions. And when we put our work out there, we make impact. So there's the extra impact of impact. I hope you enjoyed this section, and I'm going to break each one of these down now and give you tools to help create more fluid movement and more smooth transitions between these different roles. Thank you.